What's up, everyone? Ben with the BTC Sessions here, and this is your daily session.
Hodl that Bitcoin.
Couple quick things before we dive in. Number one, check out my website, btcsessions.ca. That's where you can reach out to me and book your own BTC session. Just simply scroll down to the bottom. There is a contact form there, and you can book me for Bitcoin chat, talks about wallets, proper security, whatever you like. Secondly, be sure to hit up Ledn.io. They are the sponsors of the show. This is where you can use your Bitcoin as collateral to secure a loan. Now, they started with just Canadian dollar loans, but they now expanded to US dollar loans in select international markets, so be sure to check out if it's available to you. Sign-up process takes about 2 minutes. If you're approved, then you typically have money in your bank account within 24 hours. I tried it myself a couple weeks ago, worked like a charm, and they've got a deal on right now where if you decide to get a loan and you get approved, they will credit your account with an additional $50 worth of Bitcoin. So you can get that by clicking the link down below in the description. But without further ado, let's move into what was important to me today. Now, first up, I want to talk about Bitcoin. It is growing. It continues to grow. On-chain usage continues to grow. People are using Bitcoin. And we know this because we can see on-chain transaction value and we can translate that to fiat equivalent, so dollars, whatever, how much money is being moved. Well, recently, just in this past week, Bitcoin has been moving $7 billion a day. And just to put that in perspective, Venmo from PayPal, they move, what is the number here? 62 billion in value last year they moved. So in a single day, Bitcoin was doing 11% of Venmo's volume for the entire year. That's pretty incredible considering that Bitcoin doesn't have a CEO, isn't operated by any government, and has only been around for 10 years. Pretty impressive. Now, this contributes to changes in Bitcoin fees. Now, I did a video on Bitcoin fees explaining how they work quite some time ago. So way back, at least a couple years ago, maybe more. But I will link to that in the cards and down below. But there has been a fee jump. And so in this instance, they're saying that, well, fees can be around 50 cents, sometimes up to $1 or $2 when it spikes. But that's not always true. It may be if you want to get your transaction through immediately, but you need to consider how you're using your Bitcoin, right? So this is a website called bitcoinfees.earn.com, and it tracks Bitcoin fees and kind of where they're at in the network and what you would need to pay to get your Bitcoin transaction through in a certain amount of time. Well, here, now this could look a little confusing to some of you, but what you're paying attention to is the green. What ones are getting through, and I say even easier is take a look over where it says delay and go down here. And these numbers are the number of blocks. A Bitcoin block is typically around 10 minutes. So you can go down and you can see, well, okay, around this level, I'm getting through in between 1 to 6 blocks, 1 to 4, 0 to 4. So you can see that really, if you were spending around 15 Satoshis per byte, maybe a little bit more, you'd probably get through pretty quickly. The problem is wallet software is not particularly good at estimating what a reasonable fee should be. It just estimates, it goes with whatever will get you through immediately. So you can be paying quite a bit more in fees, and you can see this because you go down and you see the green. These are transactions going through for 59 to 60 Satoshis per byte. That is the largest amount of transactions that are currently going through the network. And you can see these people are overpaying sometimes 3 times what they would likely need to get through in a single block, maybe more if you went down to like 10, 11, 12 Satoshis. If you're paying 60, you're paying too much unless you need to be absolutely sure that your transaction is confirmed in the next block. But if you're sending it to yourself, if you're sending it to a hardware wallet for storage for later on, if you're sending it off in exchange to storage for yourself, you don't need to be including those fees. And people need to realize and start actually looking into the fees that they're spending. This will become more pertinent over time, but I think we'll also see a lot of these basic transactions like buying coffee and getting something online, those will be probably pushed off to things like the Lightning Network, where it's instant and nearly free, where you're maybe paying 1 Satoshi total, which is a tiny fraction of a penny. So yeah, interesting dynamics here. I'm going to get into another story beside this though, and that is John McAfee. He's sick of Craig Wright and his fraud, and so he now says that he protected the identity of Satoshi. It's time, though, to put this this be put to bed. Imposters claim to be him. We are spending time and energy in search of him. It's a waste. Every day, I will narrow down the identity of Satoshi until he reveals himself or I reveal him. He said this the other day, April 17th. Now, he says, I'll read one other tweet from him. How do I know about Satoshi? Yes, I drink, use drugs, chase women, run from the law, which I've done since I was 19. But it does not obviate the fact that I created a great company whose focus was stopping hackers. I had to know hacking. I am still John fucking McAfee. I think this is bullshit. I don't think he actually knows who Satoshi is. Maybe he believes he knows who Satoshi is, but I very much doubt that he'll be able to actually prove it. And I think that even if he thinks he knows who Satoshi is, that person is probably not Satoshi. And even if they were, odds are there's going to be zero proof and we'll be left exactly where we are now. And I don't even think it matters. At this point, Satoshi removed himself from Bitcoin years ago and just kind of faded into the background, which is the best thing that could have happened because there's no one to look to now to say, this is our leader, tell us what to do. Bitcoin doesn't need leaders. It is a protocol and consensus is come to by the crowd. What the crowd wants is where they will go. So we now have choice, and it doesn't matter what a leader would say or who the leader is, because there is none. There is no leader in Bitcoin. And so, yeah, I think this is going to happen again and again, not necessarily from John or from Craig, but from lots of people over the years. When you have a mysterious figure who created something that a lot of people use and there's a lot of hype around, of course people are going to come out the woodwork and say it was them or say that they know who it is, because that air of mystery, people want to investigate. It's always going to happen, and I don't think we'll ever really find out who Satoshi is or was if he's not with us anymore. And I think that's okay. I think that's one of the best parts of Bitcoin. Anyways, let's move on. One more thing here. Research is saying that the next Bitcoin bull run will slay 2017's hype-driven $20,000 high. I think so too. Like, I don't try to hide that fact. I've made some predictions in the past. I'll link that in the cards and down below. But yeah, I mean, you have 21 million units for a globe of more than 7 billion people. And even if the demand stays relatively constant where it is right now, you have a dwindling supply where less and less is released onto the market over time. And the market is used to a certain amount of Bitcoin coming into it every 10 minutes. And when that gets cut in half, then over time that pinch is felt and it drives price up a little bit. And there's going to be FOMO cycles where people see the price going up, don't understand why, and so they pile in to try and chase the rabbit. Well, yeah, I think it's just the nature of Bitcoin. There's always going to be these hype cycles followed by crashes until it is common knowledge about the baked-in monetary policy within the protocol itself. And then maybe it'll start to be more so priced in, and we'll get to a point where there's just kind of a steady couple percent deflation. But yeah, I'm not going to go into the details. I just thought that particularly the headline that the next bull run will slay the $20,000 high. I mean, if there's another bull run, then of course I think that's going to happen. In fact, I think we're already kind of in it, although it's at its early phases, and we won't really see too much craziness probably for another year and a half or more. But yeah, I look forward to that in a sense, obviously, because it's nice to see Bitcoin go up and get crazy. But with that will come the downside of the scams and the distractions that come with the hype and the misinformation. So those of you that are around right now when we've just gone through this crazy, long, and arduous bear market, well, you guys get to be the beacons of truth in the coming years. When new people onboard and they're trying to figure out what the hell is going on, I encourage all of you to try and point them to resources that have helped you, whether it be Andreas, whether it be other great developers, whether it be things like the Bitcoin Standard, whatever that was for you, help people out and try to instill in them the knowledge that helped you along in your early days, because it's going to be very difficult when you have whatever the new ICO craze is the next time around to cut through the noise and see what's actually being produced that is valuable. So I will leave it with that, guys. Thank you very much for coming with me today and checking out the news. If you are new to the channel, hit subscribe, smash that like button, hit the bell notification icon, because I'm always chatting up people in the live chat when this airs for the first time. And if you want to get notified for that, then you got to hit that bell. Other than that, if you want to help the show, you can hit up my website. You can hit up the sponsor, Ledn.io, links below for that. And if you really like what you saw, you can drop me a Bitcoin Lightning Network tip via tippin.me right here. If you don't know how to do it, I made a tutorial. I'll link that as well. But with that, I am out. Thank you guys very much, and I will see you tomorrow. Actually, I won't. I'm going to take a day off for Good Friday. I will see you after the long weekend. Have a great Easter weekend. I will see you Monday for your daily session.